Images, you can see the bullet that pierced his right ear. This horrific act has just deepened an already huge divide in the United States of America. But if you were following media outlets like CNN today, well, you would have thought that Donald Trump had a fall. Look at this headline. Secret Service rushed Trump off stage after he falls at rally. Falls. It was an assassination attempt. He's not Joe Biden that doesn't know how to stand up. And that's not a one-off headline. This morning I was looking at my phone and I was taking screenshots because even though it's CNN, I still couldn't believe it. The next headline I saw, Trump injured in incident at rally. Incident. That's really what they wanted to go with when the man who's been president before and is running again was just shot. Images, you can see the bullet that pierced his right ear as he gets up with blood smeared on his face.
I mean, I don't blame them from being absolutely ashamed to report on what happened, given that we got Pulitzer Award-winning pieces like this. Do you know that YouTube considers NBC News an authoritative source? I mean, they must hire probably the smartest journalists in the United States of America, which does go to say a lot about the quality of journalists from that country. So look at this shit, right? Like Tucker Carlson strokes conspiracy theories and claims that the United States is spinning towards an assassination of Trump. Now, how did he know? This is what Alex Jones said as well, right? How did they know? And more importantly, are any of the journalists that wrote this garbage, that failed to predict the obvious, are they going to step down? Are they going to get a budget cut? Will they at least be forbidden from making predictions in the future? Will NBC News lose its status as an authoritative source? And of course, we all know the answer to it. Now, how did he knew? Like, it's a great question. How did Tucker Carlson knew that this may happen? Does he foresee the future? Is he Nostradamus? Does he have a crystal ball? No, he actually knows political science. And political science talks about the concept of stochastic terrorism. So what is stochastic terrorism? It's when the mainstream media is constantly beating the drum and is causing hatred and division nonstop, then you can't really predict what the individual is going to do, but you can predict that if the masses of people is big enough, at least one person is going to act in a crazy manner. So like if you constantly say like Trump is the end of democracy, this is the most important election, if Trump wins, we are going to have a dictatorship, Trump is literally Hitler. If you say that constantly, nonstop, for 4 years, you cannot predict what the average Joe is going to do. But when you look at a group of people, like hundreds of millions of people that are watching the news, then it is predictable and it is very likely that you are going to have a situation like what happened 2 days ago. And the mainstream media is perfectly aware of this. I mean, they constantly talk about the dangers of social media. Right-wing extremists writing hateful things, blah, blah, blah. But I gotta say, most of the hateful things that right-wingers write pale in comparison to what the mainstream media is doing. Because most social media actually has terms of service. You write some shit, you get banned. There's no terms of service with NBC News. They can write whatever the hell they want. And there's no accountability either. Like when bad things happen, they're not going to backpedal or fire someone. No, they're not going to be held accountable because they have the freedom of the press. So look at the nonsense that was printed in the American press the day after the event, right? Now, you have an assassination attempt. This is what happened. It's a historical event. People will talk about it years from now. It's going to be in the history books. And yet, this is how the mainstream media reports on it. They do not want to use the word assassination at all. And this is because they love language games. They understand just how important controlling the narrative by using specific words is. So, for instance, with January 6th, they would never call it a riot. It's always an insurrection. With this situation, they will never call it an assassination attempt. They will call it anything else. They will call it an incident. They would call it loud noises. Anything else besides assassination. In fact, I even heard people, it's like, well, the investigation hasn't finished, so we can't say anything. It's like, dude, the guy got shot in the head, and he moved his head in the last second, and this is why he's still alive. Like there is no way you can look at it and not drag the conclusion that it's an assassination attempt. Now, why it happened, who did it, okay, these are speculations. However, to simply claim it what it is not incorrect. So look at this, right? Like, Trump escorted away after loud noises at PA rally. Like, imagine that you don't know the event at all. Imagine, like, this is 50 years in the future, and you're just reading about it. Like, what would you assume happened? Donald Trump escorted off stage by Secret Service during rally after loud noises ring out in the crowd. Oh, so they got just spooked, you know? Just got spooked. Whether it's reasonable or not, we don't know, but this is what ABC News reports on it. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after popping noises heard at this Pennsylvania rally. Okay, so someone was making him popcorn, right? And the Secret Service decided to not take any risks. MAGA responds with outrage after Donald Trump injured at Pennsylvania rally. You know, like, when you compare it with all the rest, this one actually is better. Like, this one actually is serviceable. Trump removed from stage by Secret Service after loud noises startles former president. You can't make this shit up, man. Like if you were to pay me to write a headline that downplays this event, I wouldn't know how to do it. Because I would be like, it's a historical event, like everyone saw it. This is not something that you need to go on social media to find out about. Everybody saw it. Like, even in Romania it's reported. This is water cooler level conversation. It happens person to person. Like there is no possibility that you can go on the streets of any American city and just talk with a person and not know what the event is about. So the fact that the press is even trying to downplay this makes them lose even more credibility than they lost during the pandemic. Look at this. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. I mean, it's not incorrect, but this is what the mainstream media always does, okay? Because a lot of people will read it and they will chuckle, but not understand that this is exactly how they lie. Like, this sentence, he fell at rally, is not incorrect. I mean, maybe it is, right? Because he didn't fall. He actually hit the floor. But, you know, like, figuratively speaking. Okay, fine. It's not a lie, but it doesn't tell the truth. Like, it doesn't provide context. You read the headline, you don't actually understand what happened there. So these are just the ones that came out the day after, and they're not the worst, by the way. The worst are publications that even refuse to cover it. Like, you would look at the main page, and there is absolutely nothing about this event. As if, you know, it's what Cenk Uygur initially said. If you don't know, he uploaded the video. He said that someone probably fired the BB gun. But I will give Cenk Uygur the benefit of the doubt because he posted that video just after the event. So he had no idea what happened. Like, okay, fine. But this is how the mainstream media is now treating it. Right? It's just like something minor, you know, like he got milkshaked. So people are memeing in response. And as you can see, if CNN would have been during JFK time, they would have said he falls really, really hard at the rally, right? That's what CNN would have responded. Now, credit is where credit is due. A hero emerges. From the Washington compost, you got famous Taylor Lorenz. Look, she's smiling at me. I'm smiling at her right now. I didn't expect her to see her actually writing an article talking about conspiracy theories from Blue Anon. Now, I don't know what the fuck happened with Jeff Bezos, but he actually came out yesterday and he decried the assassination attempt, said this is not a place for America to happen in America, and he offered sympathies to Donald Trump. So a lot of people were bewildered. It's like, well, Jeff, you know, can you get your Washington compost under control then? And this is the article that came after. So a little bit of backstory, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. There is a lot of misinformation. The thing is, like, when right-wingers provide misinformation, sometimes, if it's not sounding implausible. At least you got Tucker Carlson, like predicting that the future is going to happen, right? So this is the misinformation that right-wingers are spreading, right? Like, it's believable. Like, even at the time, you would be like, oh, kind of unlikely, but I could see it. And I say that this is true about many right-wing conspiracy theories. It's like, well, it's kind of unlikely, but okay, I can see it somehow. Yeah, like, there is, like, some grade of possibility to it. But when you look at the left-wing conspiracy theories, they're so batshit insane, I swear to God. Like for instance, the one that they are claiming is that the assassination was staged. This is what they're claiming. I'm pretty sure that Alex Jones is looking at this, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Now, why is it absolutely batshit insane? In the beginning, when this happened, I too thought about the possibility, and we're talking about minutes after I found out, right? So I didn't have any information, didn't know what's happening. I just saw the video with Donald Trump hitting the deck. And I was like, okay, maybe, it's like in wrestling. In wrestling, they do this all the time. Like, they have a little bit of red paint or like some pack of blood, and you hear like the firecrackers, and he smacks that on his neck and goes down, and when he comes up, it looks as if, But the moment that I heard that there are 2 more casualties, then all of that went out the window. Like, it's impossible to fake it. This is happening at a major event. There's tons of people there. There's eyeballs everywhere. There's a doctor that comes out and basically says that he tried to give first aid to a person. There is absolutely no way that this is staged. Like, none whatsoever. And yet you still have people to this day that are thinking, oh yeah, it's staged. Now, I know why, though, because he got a photo op that money can't buy. But hey, like, this is props to him as a statesman. Like, he probably realized when he was on the ground that this is the moment. And he can turn it around. Like, he can actually make the people that wanted to hurt him, make them so angry and so upset over what they did. So he took that thing, and I don't know if I could have done it. Like, dude, you just survived a gunshot to the head, and you're just getting up and fist pumping in the air, and like, my God. Like, it takes a special type of person. And finally, I want to show you the worst article that was published. It's by Forbes magazine, and even Forbes was so ashamed of it, was so embarrassed of it, that they had to take it down. The article is called, "Will Surviving Gunfire Be Donald Trump's Next Appeal to Black Voters?" I'm not making this up. Like, Forbes actually hired people to write this. Like, that is someone that went to journalism school, spent 4 years, then got hired by Forbes because they thought it's a good pick. And this is the type of article they said. And by the way, usually it's not the journalist that puts the title, it's the editor. I don't even know where to begin with this. I must have some black people that follow me, right? Like, do I have some of you guys? Let me know what you think about this. It's very interesting, isn't it? To be fair, though, leaving the optics aside, I did see a lot of content creators that are either working class, or they do live in impoverished areas, or they do associate themselves with hip-hop music, and they were definitely admiring the strength and the courage. They were admiring the masculinity of the moment. And I even saw women that were left-leaning, and they were saying, yeah, you know what, like, I'm sad to say it, but like, this stirred some weird patriotism in me. Like seeing the guy just getting up and then fist pumping in the air while saying USA, USA, and energizing an entire crowd of people that should be terrified, and they're all cheering at him. Yeah, like, they probably got moist from that. I don't know what else to say. Like, think about it, right? Like if you're in an event, let's say you're at a rock concert or you're in any other place, and you hear gunshots, like, what do people do? They scream and they run, right? But when Trump was there, and even though, like, there were people that actually got shot in the stage, they were sitting there and they were cheering. I mean, is there any person on the left that can accomplish something similar in an alternative situation? Can they energize a crowd in a similar situation? I think, like, maybe Obama could have in the beginning, but like I don't know if there's any leftist now that has like this level of charisma. And this is why the media is absolutely terrified. It's not only that Biden had a bad debate, but like everything about that event is really bad. I am certain that if the elections were tomorrow, Trump would win 100%. Like, there is no way. There is no way that he wouldn't win. However, take into account that the average memory lifespan in 2024 on the internet is kind of 48 hours, right? So, like, after 48 hours, people just tend to forget. And the media is going to do its best to downplay this. They're not going to bring it up unless absolutely necessary. And they're definitely not going to call it an assassination attempt. And that is what I think the PR teams are discussing. Like, this is what's going to go forward. Just avoid talking about it. Pretend that it doesn't happen. It didn't happen. Or if you do talk about it, try to downplay it with words as much as possible. I'd be surprised if it's not the case, but we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.